Alpine's Hemp Company. Gummies, seltzers, syrups, and more. Treat yourself to the best.
I'm Ralph Mangum for the WHKY News, and this is our weekly recap of some of the crime stories we had for you during the past week. That's the week of April 14th through April 18th. Let's get to it.
The defendants are charged in connection to a case from McDowell County. The incident occurred in 2022. One of the defendants is a resident of Longview, the other a resident of Hickory. The Longview resident was recently convicted in a Catawba County case and received 57 to 75 years in prison. According to a news release from the McDowell County Sheriff's Office, a jury in that county found 36-year-old Maynor Javier Yanez Vasquez of Longview guilty of 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and 6 counts of discharging a weapon into an occupied dwelling. He received a sentence of 63 years 9 months to 81 years 11 months. As we previously reported on WHKY, Vasquez was convicted in a separate case in Catawba County. He was recently sentenced to serve 57 to 75 years in that case after being found guilty by a Catawba County jury. His co-defendant in the McDowell County case, 30-year-old Chad Michael Sampson of Hickory, pleaded guilty to 6 counts of discharging a weapon into an occupied dwelling. He was sentenced to 73 to 100 months, or 6 years 1 month to 8 years 4 months in prison. The men are charged in connection to an incident that occurred in the early morning hours of October 10th of 2022. 2 women from the Nebo community reported someone had fired multiple rounds into their residence while they slept. Several high-powered rifle casings and projectiles were found at the scene. The investigation led to the arrests of the defendants in this case. You can get more details on the case by going to this story at our website, WHKY.com. Reporting for WHKY News, this is Rob Eastwood.
6-year-old Cheryl Eicher Dobbs was also arrested by Maiden Police and charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor child abuse and 15 counts of misdemeanor assault on a child under 12. Investigators verified the information received in the initial report. Investigators reviewed hundreds of hours of surveillance footage from classroom cameras and identified 16 victims. Investigators contacted and interviewed parents and guardians of the students who were involved. According to a statement released by the Maiden Police Department, the school's administrative staff and board members cooperated fully throughout the investigation. Dobbs was scheduled to appear in court Friday, April 11th. Williams is scheduled to appear in court Monday, April 14th. Neither suspect was listed as an inmate in Catawba County. Full details at WHKY.com. I'm Ariana Mack.
31-year-old Richard Dean Jordan of Hickory has been charged with 1 count of first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor and 1 count of indecent liberties with a minor. Those charges were filed by the Alexander County Sheriff's Office on April 11th. Jordan was previously arrested on April 4th on 4 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, as previously reported by WHKY. He also faces 7 counts of felony secret peeping in Iredell County. Jordan had been listed as a doctor at Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. The investigation will continue with assistance from the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation. More charges are possible. Jordan remains in custody in Alexander County under a $595,000 bond. District court dates in Alexander County were scheduled for April 21st and May 5th, with an appearance in Iredell County coming up on July 7th. 41-year-old Purcell DeAndre Young of Charlotte was arrested Friday by authorities in Mecklenburg County on charges from Catawba County. He's charged with indecent liberties with a child and first-degree statutory sex offense. Young was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under no bond. A district court date was set for May 8th. And 53-year-old Cody Lynn Sharp of Taylorsville has been arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's officers on 11 counts of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Sharp was jailed under a $1,050,000 secured bond. A first appearance in district court was set for April 21st. The investigation is ongoing, with more charges possible in the future. 51-year-old Stephen Lamont Bailey of Statesville was arrested by Iredell County Sheriff's officers Monday on felony counts of trafficking fentanyl by possession and transport. possession with intent to sell or deliver fentanyl, MDMA, alprazolam, and morphine, and maintaining a vehicle for the sale or use of a controlled substance, along with misdemeanor counts of possession of oxycodone, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. He was arrested following a traffic stop at the intersection of Bailey Farm Road and Wilkesboro Highway due to a registration violation. The officer spoke with Bailey, who was the driver, and developed probable cause to search the vehicle. The search turned up about 22.5 dosage units of ecstasy, nearly 6 grams of fentanyl, 11 dosage units of alprazolam, 6 dosage units of morphine, 2 dosage units of oxycodone, and 20 grams of marijuana. Deputies also found paraphernalia. Bailey was placed in the Iredell County Detention Center under a $250,000 secured bond. No court dates are currently listed.
A resident of Conover is charged with multiple drug offenses following an arrest by authorities here in Catawba County. After being taken into custody, the suspect was placed in jail under no bond. 33-year-old Rebecca Nicole Bradley of West Poplar Street in Conover was arrested by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. She's charged with trafficking opium or heroin, felony conspiracy, felony maintaining a vehicle, dwelling, or place for controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Bradley was placed in the Catawba County Detention Facility Tuesday morning under no bond as she awaited a district court date the same day.
That's correct, Ralph. A Maiden teen has been arrested for breaking and entering and fleeing to elude arrest. 19-year-old Giovanni Camacho of Maiden was arrested by Lincoln County Sheriff's officers on April 13th on felony counts of fleeing to elude arrest, breaking and entering, and larceny after breaking and entering, along with numerous other traffic offenses. He was arrested in connection with an incident on April 2nd when deputies attempted to stop a vehicle after it left a Denver business at a high rate of speed. The driver fled from deputies, reaching speeds of more than 100 miles per hour. The driver lost control near Chase Drive on Highway 73 and crashed into a wooded area. Deputies began to approach the vehicle but realized it was still operational. The driver then made another attempt to flee, nearly striking a deputy before re-entering the roadway. The pursuit continued briefly before the suspect's vehicle wrecked again near Huncoat Hollow Lane. 2 occupants fled on foot while 2 others were apprehended. Upon further investigation, deputies learned that the suspects had been involved in a breaking and entering at a convenience store on NC 16 Business Highway North minutes prior to the pursuit. Following his arrest, Camacho was jailed under a $25,000 secured bond. No court dates are currently listed. The other offenders will be charged as juveniles.
25-year-old Chancellor Timothy Johnson of Taylorsville is in custody following a standoff in Alexander County. At 3:22 a.m. Wednesday, Alexander County 911 took a call regarding a possible domestic situation at an address on Lael Lane in Bethlehem. Deputies made contact with a female and a child who exited the residence. A male subject remained inside and barricaded himself, prompting a standoff situation. Additional law enforcement personnel were dispatched to the scene to assist. After approximately 2.5 hours, at about 5:30 a.m., deputies successfully apprehended the suspect, identified as Chancellor Johnson. Following his arrest, investigators determined that Johnson had caused significant damage to a vehicle and to the interior of the residence. Johnson was injured as he damaged the vehicle. He was taken to Fry Regional Medical Center for treatment. Following medical evaluation, Johnson was released into the custody of the Hickory Police Department. Charges are forthcoming in Alexander County for damage to personal property and for resisting, obstructing, and delaying a public officer. At last report, Johnson remained in the Catawba County Detention Facility with no bond amount listed. Johnson is scheduled to appear in Catawba County Superior Court on May 19th in connection with a fatal crash in September 2023. At that time, Johnson allegedly led a Hickory police officer on a high-speed chase. He was reportedly driving a motorcycle at about 100 miles per hour. While in pursuit, the officer's vehicle hit a van driven by 38-year-old Cynthia Nicole Lael of Hickory. She and her 12-year-old son, Michael Lael, died as a result of the collision. The officer was not seriously injured. Johnson fled the scene but surrendered to authorities 10 days later. He was charged with 2 counts of felony fleeing to elude arrest with a motor vehicle causing death.
That's correct, Ralph. 20-year-old William Connor Roberts of Statesville has been arrested by Alexander County Sheriff's deputies on charges of assault by pointing a gun, going armed to the terror of the people, disorderly conduct by fighting, and possession of marijuana. Deputies were called to the Alexander County Fairgrounds Saturday, April 12th, in response to reports of a man causing a disturbance. Roberts was taken into custody. At last report, he remained in jail. Roberts was scheduled to appear in district court Monday in Taylorsville, with his next court date coming up on May 19th. Stay tuned to our crime report at WHKY.com. I'm Ariana Mack.
The defendant in this case was charged in connection to the death of his daughter, who was not even a year and a half old when she ingested methamphetamine and fentanyl and died from an overdose of those drugs. The defendant could spend up to 19 years in prison following his sentencing here at the Catawba County Justice Center earlier this week. 35-year-old Lucas Shane Scrance of Hickory was sentenced to 15 to 19 years in prison for second-degree murder. Scrance entered a guilty plea in Catawba County Superior Court Tuesday. He was convicted for his involvement in connection to the February 2024 death of his 16-month-old daughter, Ivy. At that time, deputies responded to a Newton residence after receiving a 911 call regarding a deceased child. An autopsy showed that the child died of fentanyl and methamphetamine toxicity. During a search of the residence, deputies found unsafe living conditions in the home, observing drugs and paraphernalia at various locations throughout the residence. The defendant claimed he was asleep when the child died. He admitted there was open and frequent drug use in the residence. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office investigated this case. So once again, a 15 to 19 year prison sentence for Lucas Shane Scrance, who entered a guilty plea earlier this week to second-degree murder in connection to the death of his 16-month-old daughter. Reporting from the Catawba County Justice Center in Newton, I'm Rob Eastwood, WHKY News.
A Hickory woman was charged with arson. 29-year-old Cordisha Renisha Chancellor Blackburn of Spencer Road Northeast in Hickory was arrested Wednesday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. She's charged with first-degree arson. Chancellor Blackburn was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $100,000 bond. A district court appearance was scheduled for April 17th. And a Newton woman jailed on Iredell County drug charges. 39-year-old Ashley Lynn Jordan of Burris Road in Newton was arrested Wednesday by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. She's charged in Iredell County with possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. Jordan was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under $1,000 bond. An Iredell County District Court appearance is set for May 19th. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
When police arrived at the scene of this arrest, the suspect appeared to be unconscious in a vehicle. A search resulted in the discovery of suspected fentanyl and suspected methamphetamine. The suspect was taken to the Caldwell County Detention Center following his arrest. He has since been released. 46-year-old Brandon David Earp was arrested Saturday by Caldwell County Sheriff's officers. He's charged with traffic in opium or heroin and possession of methamphetamine. On Saturday, deputies with the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office responded to a call to check the welfare of a subject on Brushy Mountain Road in Lenoir. During the course of the investigation, deputies made contact with Earp, who appeared to be unconscious in a vehicle when deputies arrived at the scene. Earp was found to be in possession of drug paraphernalia, and the vehicle was searched. The search resulted in the discovery of more than 4 grams of suspected fentanyl and 1 gram of suspected methamphetamine. Earp was placed under arrest and brought to the Caldwell County Detention Center, where bond was set at $40,000. He has since been released from custody. His next district court date is scheduled for April 30th in Lenoir. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
18-year-old Xavier Jarry Wyatt of Catawba 26-year-old Robert DeJohn Nelson Jr. of Hickory, 22-year-old Kenyon Malik Jackson of Newton, and 26-year-old Tevin Nathaniel Hamlin of Hickory have all been arrested in connection with an incident in which a shot was fired at officers early Thursday morning. At about 12:48 a.m. Thursday, Newton police responded to reports of suspicious persons in the area of South Irvin Avenue. The caller said 3 or 4 people exited a silver Nissan Altima and were walking in the area wearing backpacks, dressed in all black clothing, and wearing face masks. A short time later, a Catawba County deputy spotted a vehicle with multiple occupants in the area of East P Street in Newton that matched the caller's description. Additional officers arrived at the intersection of East P Street and St. James Church Road, where the vehicle was stopped. As officers conducted their investigation, a suspect, later identified as Xavier Jaree Wyatt, fled on foot into a wooded area and fired a shot at pursuing officers. As officers searched for Wyatt, the weapon he is believed to have used was found in the wooded area. Wyatt was not located. Warrants were issued for Wyatt's arrest, charging him with 5 counts each of assault with a deadly weapon with intent to kill and assault with a firearm on a law enforcement officer. Hamlin, who was the driver, was charged with driving while license revoked. Nelson and Jackson were found to have handguns in their possession. Nelson was charged with possession of a firearm by a felon, and Jackson was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. Hamlin was released after posting a $500 secured bond. Nelson was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Center under a $100,000 secured bond. Jackson was released after posting a $1,000 secured bond. Wyatt was taken into custody by U.S. Marshals at approximately 3 p.m. Thursday at the Sandalwood Court Apartment Complex in Newton. He was jailed in the Catawba County Detention Facility under no bond. First appearances in district court for all 4 suspects were scheduled for April 21st. The investigation is ongoing. Anyone with information should call Newton Police 828-465-7430 or email jbrown@newtonnc.gov.
A Conover woman has been charged with statutory rape. 33-year-old Caitlin Dawn Schrantz of County Home Road in Conover was arrested by Catawba County Sheriff's officers. She's charged with statutory rape of a child 15 years old or younger. Schrantz was incarcerated in the Catawba County Detention Facility on April 17th without bond. A district court date was scheduled for April 17th. A Vail woman faces drug charges in Catawba County. 33-year-old Jessica Nicole Neal of Palm Tree Drive in Vail was arrested by authorities in Lincoln County on Catawba County drug charges. She's charged with 2 counts of trafficking opium or heroin. Neal was incarcerated in the Catawba County Detention Facility on April 17th under $50,000 bond. A district court date was scheduled for April 17th. I'm Ariana Mack for WHKY.
The suspects I'm going to talk about are wanted in Iredell County. They are on the Iredell County Most Wanted list, which you can find at the Sheriff's Office website. The suspects I'm going to discuss in this report face felony charges and are residents of Statesville. The Most Wanted list includes 33-year-old Terrence Devon Morgan. He's wanted for felony assault by strangulation and misdemeanor counts of crime of domestic violence and assault on a female. Morgan's last known address is listed as 497 Crawford Road in Statesville. Another individual on the Iredell County Most Wanted list is 44-year-old Crystal June Lambert Sims. She's wanted on 2 outstanding warrants for arrest for felony and misdemeanor counts of domestic violence protective order violation. The last known address for Sims is listed as 148 Ashley Brook Lane in Statesville. You can see all of the Iredell County Most Wanted suspects by going to the Iredell County Sheriff's Office website. That is iredellsheriff.com. If you have any information on any of the suspects on the list, you can call the Sheriff's Office at 704-878-3180. Reporting for WHKY News, I'm Rob Eastwood.
This has been our weekly look back at a few of the crime stories we had for you during the week of April 14th through the 18th. Our weekly summary is posted every Saturday on the WHKY YouTube channel, along with all the rest of the WHKY News. I'm Ralph Mangum. Thank you for watching.